You're listening to At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production.
And welcome to this edition of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. This week's guest is my lovely wife, the one and only Kari Malinak. Carrie grew up in the hometown of Johnny Carson, Norfolk, Nebraska. Then went off to college where she met yours truly. And her life was never the same. Carrie is great at everything she tries, and in her lifetime, she's gone from a theater major to a loving and caring mother to 3 awesome kids to a called and ordained minister in the Lutheran faith. If you aren't familiar with her story, well, here it is. Kari Malinak, my guest this week on At the Mic. A very, very special guest, my wife, Kari Malinak. Should I say Carrie or should I say Karen? Do you want to be like professional sounding today, or how would you like this to go?
No, I go by Kari because Karen sounds too mature. And anytime that in classes or when I was younger or even as an adult, when people start calling me Karen, which I like the way it's spelled because it's an I, not an E. So right. Karin. It's really pretty looking, but it just sounds too mature.
Well, besides, there's like a new phenomenon that, Karen, you don't want to be a Karen in our society.
I was just thinking about that this morning, and I was hearing, and this Karen, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I don't think I'm offended by this. And then I was thinking, well, let me think. Okay, so I wonder, no one who's a Betty would be offended by being called a Betty because it means you're hot.
Oh, it does?
And yeah. I
have never, ever heard that. Wow.
Yeah. And then I thought, well, I mean, if I was named Felicia, would I be offended? Bye, Felicia. I don't think I'd be offended. So I guess I'm okay being a Karen.
Yeah. I mean, there's some names in society that have taken on lives of their own. You got Monica now, thanks to Bill Clinton. There are other ones that just escape me right now, but it's like, oh, you just hope that your name doesn't end up being one of those.
Well, if you recall watching a couple of movies with the kids, and something would come up with the name Keith, and we all, you actually tagged it at one point, like recorded it. What movie was it? It was Hoodwinked, where the guy, the bad guy says, Keith, what kind of name is Keith? And he goes on this spiel of Keith. But that's the only...
And I agree with that.
And it didn't catch on.
What kind of name is that, by the way?
When I first met you, I always wanted to call you Kevin.
How long have I known you, by the way? Let's see, 1995. So it's 25 years that I have known you.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
It is fascinating.
So I met you in college, University of Nebraska. I was a sophomore. You were a freshman.
Yep.
You were born and raised in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Yep.
So you were in state.
I was in state.
I was the interloper coming from Georgia.
Yes.
And there's a lot of life that you lived before then. So
that sounds sordid.
Well, no, I'm saying
I'm a Karen. There is no sordid life.
Right. No, I'm just saying there was 18 years of your life. So take us back to Norfolk, Nebraska, and then we'll catch up to an era that I was more familiar with.
It was a cold spring morn. No.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. What?
So you were born in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Yes.
And you are the middle of 3 girls.
Yep.
Okay. So how is it being the middle child? Is it awesome?
It is so awesome. Actually, middle children, I think that middle children have a superpower that is called flexibility and go with the flowness.
Uh-huh.
I need to come up with a better...
So you're not the boss. You're not picked on. You're just kind of there.
We're Jan Brady'd, man. We're forgotten. Yeah. We're looked over.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Well, so yeah, exactly. Because the oldest would have the rule of the roost, right? And be the boss. And that's probably the case with your sister.
Right. Absolutely.
The youngest is probably always the baby and gets, treated as such.
Absolutely.
That would also be your younger sister.
Absolutely. And then if you look at, though, like rules or chores or privileges, when it comes to a chore or a rule, I get lumped in with the older sister. And when it comes to privileges, I get lumped in with the younger sister until I start getting privileges of the oldest child And then the youngest just gets to meld right in there with the older two.
It sounds like you're describing our 3 kids, though.
Not quite. I am very conscious of that, and I try with giving responsibilities and stuff. I do not put it all squarely on our oldest. I reach out to the other 2. I make them do things, and I think it helps that our middle is a boy because there are certain, and he's the only boy we have, but there are certain things that, because he's a boy, he may have some different, I don't want to say expectations or chores.
Are you insinuating that boys and girls are different, though? That's weird.
Nope.
That's old think.
Nope.
What are you doing? So, yeah, I being an only child, I just get away with everything.
I will say that you married a superpower person because I'm a middle child.
I think the word you're groping for there is superhero.
Nope, superpower person.
Superpower person. Okay.
Superpower person. So, because think about this, like you could not marry, and this is textbook, right? Like only children and firstborn children don't usually fare well together because they both
want to be the boss.
Very alpha'd.
Yeah.
The youngest and only children don't fare super well because the youngest is used to getting his or her own way a lot and being the center of attention, but so is the only child. Yep. So middle child
gets along with everybody.
Is flexible and go with the flow a little bit more, and so
and they're superpower
they put up
lovingly
with only children. Better.
That's coded language for something.
No.
So you're the middle child.
Yeah.
2 sisters.
Yep.
And how was that growing up, though, as far as relationships? And were you guys close, or how did that shake out?
Yeah, we were. I mean, we definitely had our ups and downs just because we were siblings, and we are all very close in age. My older sister is 18 months older than I am, and then my younger sister is 22 months younger. And so we were very close in age.
Right.
My older sister and I were in all of the same activities in high school. So it wasn't like we were competing against each other, but our lives were so intertwined. And then my younger sister was 2 years behind me. So we weren't in a lot of the same activities. But we had sibling arguments, but we've stayed close, and we're definitely really tight now. I mean, remained tighter than.
So you're close, right?
Oh yeah.
And let's just pretend that they won't hear this podcast. Your 2 sisters live in Omaha.
Yes.
You live several states away in Texas.
Yes.
If you could choose, would you live in the same town as them the way they do with each other, or would you live several states away the way it is now? Remember, there's no way they're not gonna hear this. No one listens to this podcast.
I know, but no, I'm just kidding. But no, I think
got it.
I think that it's kind of a both. I mean, do I have to live in Omaha? I mean, I love Nebraska. I love Omaha, but I love being from Nebraska. I did winter. I don't like the long extended, hey, look, we're having a blizzard and it's May 1st. I don't like that. 2 weeks of winter is perfect.
And see, you and I are the opposite, because I grew up in the South. Right. I grew up in Atlanta, where we might have gotten a couple snows a year.
Right.
And I'm begging for winter weather. So I don't care if it's a blizzard in May. I want it, And
our kids, having grown up most of their lives in the South, definitely fall along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. You stay up late to watch the weather, and it's sad. It's sad living in the South when you're a snowhound. So what were some of the activities that you said you and your sister participated in the same activities and stuff like that growing up? What were some of those activities that y'all did?
Well, I am proud to say that I didn't have a letter jacket, but I did have a varsity letter for speech and debate.
Speech and debate, they give out letters for those, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So my older sister and I were both in competitive speech and debate, and we both were in school plays. We both, well, all three of us actually worked at Dairy Queen. I don't know that I would call that an activity, but and I tell you what, I'm a dang good ice cream cone maker and blizzard maker, and
you get that little curly thing at the
yes,
top
I
of
do.
the ice cream
I don't know
cone.
if you remember this, and this is jumping forward a little bit to the time when I met you, but when we would go to lunch or dinner in the cafeteria together, and they had an ice cream maker, and I would stand there and I'd make everyone's ice cream, and you'd be like,
it's annoying. Yeah,
Come
we were talking, University of Nebraska, Lincoln. I'm ready to go, and you've got a line of like a dozen people, and you're gonna, that was aggravating. Absolutely, it was. But that's because you're an extrovert and I'm an introvert, and I just want to get out of there. So let's talk about your debate stuff.
yes.
Do you remember your best argument, like what the topic was, where you walked away thinking, I just earned the letter that's on my jacket?
So definitely with speech competition, I did, because I always did like dramatic monologues or duets. And so I definitely competed and earned awards. Like I think that I earned those. With debate, I think that my partner, I had two partners for debate through my high school career. And my first year, I think we were a very solid team. I cannot remember what. I know the overall topic was the environment.
Oh, no.
But you had to argue both sides. You didn't know if you were going to be on the pro or the con.
Oh, wow.
So it would flip each round. You'd have 4 rounds in a day.
And you either love trees or you hate them?
Basically. And then you have experts, like expert, I guess, material that you have in files. And now it's probably much easier because they can just open up an iPad or a tablet and search their information. But, and you have experts who support your argument. So I don't know. I think that it was a good experience. And I'm saying this.
Wait.
I'm saying this stumbling over my words. I was about to say
you're smooth.
it really helps with the preparing articulate conversations and being able to sound intelligent when you speak. And then I'm completely stumbling over it.
You're not competing right now, so don't worry about it. Okay, so you ended up in college, University of Nebraska at Lincoln, where you were there for a good, 4 months tops?
Wow. So I was there for a semester.
Long enough to meet me and go, I got to get out of here.
And then I moved to California for a year. And then I moved back.
Yeah.
And I did.
What brought you back?
I did school at UNL, at University of Nebraska Lincoln, for 1 more year. So I did 3 semesters there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yes. Yeah. So you were there to be a theater major.
I was.
When you were growing up, did you think, I want to act for a living?
No. So when I was, for about 3 years, before 4th grade, I didn't have any future plans. I just...
Well, you wanted to be an astronaut.
No. Not
yet?
before 4th grade. No, it was in 4th grade that I decided I want to be an astronaut. And I really was fascinated with space exploration, with the Air Force, with taking that path. Then I realized there's a lot of math and science, which I was fine in. I never did poorly in those subjects. I just didn't enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted to convince NASA that there was a better way. Right? A math-free path into...
There you go. Exactly.
NASA.
So then in 7th grade, my grandparents took me to New York City. And they took me to my first Broadway play. And it was Cats. And 5 minutes in, I said, that.
Oh, wow.
That is what I want to do.
An astronaut cat.
And
No. And what grade was this?
7th grade.
Okay.
I was 12 years old. And from then on, that was
your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So had you done any theater whatsoever before then?
Yes, I won Best Actress Award in 4th grade from a teacher who hated me. So I know that meant something.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, good for you. So 7th grade,
Mm-hmm.
you say, I want to be in acting. Did you want to be on the stage? You want to be TV, movies? What kind of acting did you want to do?
Anything. Anything. And I will say there is something to live theater that cannot be matched. There's something, every audience, every performance is different. It's a different energy in the crowd. And there is something beautiful in the live theater experience, which I know you've only been to one Broadway play, which was fun.
Yeah,
that was
good.
great.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yep. But the theater experience, as far as the individuals that make up the world of theater, seem to have some similarities with you and some stark differences. Would you care to explain any of those for us?
Well, I will. One of them for sure, that at UNL, for my brief time there, I remember talking with a classmate and we said, gosh, it seems like you can't be in theater if you don't smoke and hang out in the smoking section before class. There was this little smoking group outside and I have never smoked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always kind of an outsider with that. I've never done the whole like Hollywood lifestyle thing. So,
But you're outgoing and you're a people person.
yep.
And so I could see where theater would be a draw for you.
Yeah.
So in high school, did you do plays then and stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely. I was in every high school play that I could be in.
What's your favorite role of all time that you've done?
Oh, shoot.
Astronaut Cat.
I think, yeah, Space Kitty.
Space Kitty.
Yeah, no. I think I really loved, well, I have a few different favorite characters or favorite roles because of different reasons, for different reasons. Like in high school, I loved doing Guys and Dolls, being Adelaide. That is one of the lead roles. There are 4. I guess technically she would be a supporting cast, but
I guess I should get around to watching that at some point.
probably
Guys and
you
Dolls.
you would have a ball
Really?
just making fun of it, like because they
no.
call them dames, and
Now that would be fun.
I know. I think you would get a kick out of that,
All
but I don't know that you would enjoy it. You and our son Ezra share that.
Disdain for all things musical?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went to the University of Nebraska for one semester. You were
And
there.
then a year.
You happened to be there just long enough, literally, just for what was the greatest football season in the University of Nebraska history. Fall of 1995. So congratulations on your timing.
I was really excited about that.
Right. But you said earlier, maybe you want to enlighten us, why did you immediately leave and go to California?
Really? Okay.
We're only just starting. So maybe you could enlighten us. Why did you go to California?
Okay. So I went to California, a couple of things. So first, my parents decided that they should get a divorce when I moved to college. So I wasn't really in a college mood.
I'm never in a college mood, man. I wanted to get out of there from the moment I started.
I know. And then second, I had an opportunity for nannying that came up that sounded really great. And third, my boyfriend at the time lived in California.
But as an aspiring actress, that draw to California had to be big at that point. Especially since you were so disinterested in going to college.
That's true. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say with being an 18-year-old whose world is kind of flipped upside down. Looking back on it, I just don't think that was the right time for me to try to be a regular teenager either and do the expected normal teenager thing. But this cracks me up. I think you've heard this before, where my mom with taxes, like she is a rule follower. And when
she's a CPA.
Yeah, when taxes were coming up, and she said, and I was paid cash for nannying. So So she said, well, what are you going to do about taxes? And I said, I don't know. And she said, well, I guess if they ever ask you, you can just tell them you dropped out of life for a year. Does that not sound like something my mom would say?
Wow. Well, look, those records are more than 7 years old, so.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
All right. You came back to Lincoln. You did some more schooling, but eventually you got married.
I did. I moved back to Lincoln.
And so you got married long about 1998.
Long about. Mm-hmm.
And your husband dragged you to his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, from what I understand.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
I don't know that dragging would be the best word because I was always ready for adventure. I was ready to go explore, get out of Nebraska.
I'm going to say, so Nebraska, California, back to Nebraska, and now Georgia.
Yes.
And so you guys got married. You guys,
yep. Me and that guy.
You and that guy got married. You went to Atlanta, and you got back into school as a theater major, correct?
After working for a year and gaining residency.
Gotcha,
I did, yes.
So you went to Kennesaw State University.
Yes, I did.
Which has really changed quite a bit since you were there.
I know. It's like
it's a campus.
University campus now.
It's not a few buildings in a parking lot.
I was there at that transitional time. Mm-hmm. It originally started as, I think, a junior college. Mm-hmm. But it was started for the non-traditional student.
Right.
So
it's like a commuter college.
Most of their classes were in the evenings because they had people who were already in the workforce who wanted to earn a college degree, but they couldn't go during the day. And so that's how Kennesaw, the majority of their students to start with were those non-traditional students. I was there in that transitional time when all of a sudden you had a lot of 18-year-olds from high school coming in there. They didn't have any dorms yet, but they had a lot more daytime classes offered, and they were shifting into a more traditional university.
Yeah, now they have like big
dorms and sports
programs. Football team, all sorts of good stuff. So that's you were definitely there at an interesting time. So you got your major, or you got your degree in theater performance.
Yes.
And you and that guy, whoever it was that you married, right?
Yes.
Through twists and turns with his career, ended up in Houston, Texas, right?
Yes.
And then Omaha, Nebraska, briefly. Charleston, South Carolina, which I think you and that other guy agree is the best city on earth, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then it was to New York and New Jersey, and now Dallas, Texas, where you live.
Yep.
But somewhere along the line, you decided that you had a different calling.
Well, I would say the Lord decided.
Gotcha.
So this other guy, this husband that I married, we had moved to Charleston, South Carolina. And when we were getting married, I grew up Catholic and he grew up Southern Baptist. And so when we got married, or were getting married, we said that, as a married couple, we will always seek a church where we feel this is a good church home for ourselves. And then when we have kids...
Yeah, it's going to be kind of confusing for kids, right? If
Absolutely.
If mom goes to one church at 9 a.m. and dad goes to another one later or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we always had decided that we would just be where we thought was the best church for our family. So we had gone to Southern Baptist, we had gone to non-denominational, and gone to different churches throughout our marriage. And then when we moved to Charleston, we were church shopping, and I was pregnant with our second child. And when I'm pregnant, I am sick. And we were going to a new church every single weekend. I think we only revisited a church.
It was literally 12 churches.
Once or twice we visited a new church. And there was one weekend where you had said, well, hey, why don't we check out this Lutheran church? And I didn't know a lot about the Lutheran church. And I said, well, if we're going to do a Lutheran, we might as well do Catholic. So I don't feel well. I'm going to stay home and eat goldfish crackers. So you went to this church and you came back and you said, hey, I really think that you'd like this. How about you come and talk to the pastor with me? I said, okay, cool. And are you remembering this how I remember it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So we went and we talked, and he handed us a small catechism, which is a training book that Martin Luther had written for the household for parents to teach their children. And he talked us through it, and there was nothing that was wrong sounding. Like it all was good. I didn't think anything, I think we both were very comfortable with it. And so we said, okay, we'll visit here. So we started going there, and after 2 weeks, it was, I'm home. Theologically, in faith, just everything was so comfortable, and it felt like the perfect marriage, as you're saying, between Southern Baptist and Catholicism. And then I started, we were very involved in that congregation, and I started getting...
And by involved, you mean that I started the St. Luke's Lutheran men's softball team.
Yes, you did.
In Somerville, South Carolina. And then, of course...
I think you started the St. Luke's...
Promptly won the championship, I'd like to point out. Team effort. I also started the St. Luke's...
young men's poker game.
Poker night. Definitely involved.
Absolutely. And we both took turns leading the adult education, the young adult Sunday school class. And we were good friends with the vicar, who was a seminary student. And so we were really involved. And
this is just for time perspective here. We're talking about, we were in Charleston from 2005 through 2009-ish, roughly. 5 years. 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I can't do math.
Yes, it was 5 years. He can't do math, and he used his fingers there. And he still couldn't. Okay, so anyway. Yes, 5. So the more that we were learning and growing and engaging with the word and study, I remember telling you, driving home one day, I think God has something for me. And you said, oh, cool. Okay, well, let me know. And so I
it's
knew.
Almost kickoff time. We'll talk about it later. Football's starting.
So I knew it was something that was bigger and probably something that I was not going to be as hip on. And so I quit praying and I quit reading my Bible because that's the most logical thing to do when you think that God has something for you. So I was doing dishes one day. Gosh, that is like how many of my stories, begin like that. I was doing dishes. I do a lot of dishes.
Yes, because you won't let anybody else do them for you.
No, that is not true. Totally I do true. Let other people do the dishes, but there are certain things we are not supposed to put in the dishwasher. Like, a wooden handled spatula thing. It will come apart, or certain knives rust, or pans rust.
But are they clean?
So, and then we have to throw them away because they're all rusted and get a new one. And so then you're spending money.
Yeah. Everything runs its course. It's a good run, spatula. Sorry. Okay. And so you felt a calling.
Oh, yes. So I felt this pressure. I don't know how to explain it other than it was a pressure. And I always feel kind of silly saying this part, but I guess it's part of my story. So whatever. But I blurted out loud, am I supposed to be a pastor? And all of that pressure was lifted. And I had this ridiculous sense of peace. And I was bawling. And I thought, God, you are crazy. I don't know what you're thinking. But thank goodness in the Lutheran faith tradition, we really don't value that internal feeling, because when we have a rumble, this is biblical, when you have a feeling in your tummy, that could be God or it could be the burrito from last night, right? So I needed to get confirmation outside of my own feelings. And so I knew once I floated this idea past family and friends, I would be back to a normal me, whatever. So I kind of tossed out the idea to like my sisters and some friends and said, I thinking about checking out seminary, expecting that they would tell me I was absolutely crazy. This was the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard. And instead they said, yes, that is exactly what you need to do.
Not the answer you wanted to hear.
Not the answer No, it was really
And
scary.
it started a process. This was a years-long process from start to finish. How many years were you taking classes? Because you had a busy schedule. You were a full-time mom. You worked along the way. So how many years did it take you to get that degree where you earned your Master's of Divinity?
6 years.
6-year process.
Which is usually a 4-year process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so as you were along the way earning that degree, you and I actually were coworkers for a stretch there at the Blaze.
We were.
Yeah, because you did commercials there for Glenn Beck's radio show.
I did. That was a really fun, it's kind of weird to say, that was a fun part-time job because my first part-time job was at Dairy Queen.
Yeah. And you were a roller skate waitress when you lived in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes.
At a diner, like an old 50s themed diner. That was fun, right? You
Absolutely.
enjoyed that?
I did. I love roller skating. I love food. And
did you ever wipe out carrying food?
No, not carrying food. I did wipe out once, and I don't know why, but I have this horrific memory of I don't think I was wearing cute underwear. And I wiped out. I just have this horrific memory of, oh no, I hope I didn't flash anyone.
Did you get a big tip or two that day?
No.
Okay. Right.
But I did spill food twice, not because of roller skates. I spilled food.
How weird.
Yeah, I spilled food because I didn't balance. And one time it was a tray of water. Oh, it was so funny. I had a tray of water in my hand and I didn't think about the balance. And so I'm handing these waters out and it was unbalanced and a whole tray of water tipped in this guy's lap. And we pointed and laughed. I gave him a free burger, but oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Was he laughing?
Yeah, he was good humored about it.
Okay. And you've also been a daycare teacher, which had to have been a blast. I mean, I love other people's kids. Am I right?
I know you do. You love
little OPKs running around, screaming their heads
That's
off.
your favorite thing in the world.
It's an acronym that I came up with that I'm most proud of. OPKs. I'm not dealing with OPKs today. Y'all go without me. Yeah, absolutely. So for one day, tell me the story of being a survey giver for Gallup. What did you do with Gallup?
I actually completely forgot about that. Yeah, so moved to college first time in Lincoln and thought I should probably get a part-time job. And so my friend and I went to Gallup together, tried it for about a day and said, oh, this just bites.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. Neither of us. I don't even know if I actually told them I quit or if I just stopped showing up. I don't remember.
Oh, that's responsible.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember. I was an 18-year-old. I'm not.
Right. So do you teach those lessons in personal responsibility to your kids? You have 3 kids.
I do have 3 kids.
And their ages range from 17, 14 down to 12.
Yep.
Girl, boy, girl.
Yep.
And how are they as kids? Do tell.
Well,
because
let me tell you,
just like your sisters,
they'll never hear it.
They'll never hear this thing. No one listens to this podcast.
I will say, we have ridiculously amazing kids, and I say that with all honesty and sincerity.
I know. I got great kids.
They really are incredible, and I'm so proud of the young. I can't say quite young adults, but I mean, our oldest is almost, I can't believe she's 17.
Yeah, but she has flashes, moments where she doesn't act it, so we're good.
Absolutely. Oh, you need to see a video from last night. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. But anyway, they are so kind and sweet. And I've had people tell me like, they're not real teenagers. And
that's all I will say in all sincerity. And don't say, no. That's all a tribute to you. Because you're a great mom. You've raised them wonderfully. They are wonderful young adults because of the steady force of you.
I will say, thank you, first of all. You're also a very, very good dad. And
thanks.
So, but I will say that parenting, when I consider my skill set, my strengths, where I lack confidence, parenting is one of those things that I was thinking about this. I don't think I've ever sought out parenting advice.
Yeah.
I've just always
That's
known.
True. I haven't either. Yeah. We're just now. Yeah. Fist bump. Woo! Yeah. We wrote the book on great parenting. So
Seriously.
You don't come to us.
Like, well, no, I'm serious. Yes. I mean, and every family is different. Every kid is different. Every parent is different. And I like to think that every parent does the best they can with what they've got.
Right.
There are very few parents who actually don't want the best for their children. There are some out there, and they, and that I hope those kids are okay.
Yeah.
But parenting is one of the things that I have never wavered or been.
But it's not easy. It's exhausting.
No, and the best advice.
And that's with good kids.
The best advice that I give anyone who has a toddler, which we were just at a restaurant where there was a little boy who was not a toddler, but acting like a toddler.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
my limits were tested.
We both looked at our kids and we were like,
I told him. I told him, I said, if you ever want to experience a beatdown in public, act like that kid right there.
Well, there were times where if they tried to start throwing a fit in public, we shut it down and we removed ourselves from that situation.
Nobody goes to a restaurant wanting to hear our kids scream. And so the one occasion that happened with our oldest, we were in public and I took her to the car, let you finish your food.
It was my birthday, so you let me.
Birthday. Yeah. That's right. Just bring my food out of the car. I'll eat it home.
So
P.F. Chang's.
I tell, in Omaha. I tell parents all the time, I don't like getting unsolicited advice, which I'm such a hypocrite in that because I love giving. I'm a Karen.
Yeah.
But I do it with love and because I care. Anyway, my one advice that I will never not stand by for people, especially with toddlers, is put in the effort now. You will not regret it. There are going to be days.
You're going to be swimming against the tide if you.
There will be days where you consistently, the only word you say is no. Yeah. And it really stinks and it's hard. And those days drag. But man, I tell you what, I love being around our kids. I have so much fun with them. And it's because we have not had to punish our kids in
don't jinx it.
Years.
What are you doing?
Well, I know our youngest isn't quite a teen, but she's the closest thing to a real teenager that we have.
Yeah.
She's the one we have to keep our eye on.
So, as a parent,
yes,
as a full-time pastor,
yes,
as a superpower person,
superpower person, you know it.
I ask this question before we do these interviews in the email, and I say, if you ever have any downtime, what do you do for fun? And your response was downtime. That's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, what would you do with any free time if you had it?
Okay, I love to dance. I mean, I would say,
Does your husband like to dance?
No, but I had so much fun last weekend when we were dancing. We turned on that new song from Badly Drawn Boy, and I love dancing. The kitchen is.
You can't prove that I was there.
I can't. I didn't take video.
Danced to
but
anything.
I've got it in my mind, and it was so much fun.
No, it was not attractive at all.
I didn't say it was attractive. I said it was so much fun.
So you like to dance?
I love to
What
dance.
else?
I love to read. I'm disappointed in myself that I have not been reading like I used to be a reader. I would devour books.
Yeah.
And ever since I got into seminary, when I went into seminary, all of the books I was reading, they were so dense and I couldn't zip through them as fast as I do with other books. And it was a lot of thought process that went into it. And so I'm trying to get back into it. That was one of my goals for 2020 was to really get back into reading.
Good luck.
I know.
I know the feeling of wanting to read and having no time.
Yes.
Or else at the end of the day, it's like, my battle isn't, am I going to pick that book up again? It's, am I going to keep my eyes open tonight?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to do that? That's my downtime goal.
Secret into the life of Keith. We will try to start watching a TV show, and I have to, the entire time, about every 3 minutes, look over and kind of shake you.
You
say,
spend
are you
as
awake?
much time looking to see if I'm awake as you do eyes on the TV. All right. You have 5 pets. They almost outnumber us in the household.
I know.
You can't let that happen.
No.
We've got the smartest creature ever, Tanner.
And he is a good dog.
He's a good dog.
He's a good dog.
We always say, who's a good dog?
He's a good dog.
He is a good dog. Let's see. We've got Matilda, who
That's
is
Aslan's
Aslan's
dog,
little puppy.
but she is-
I call her a puppy.
She is so sweet
and so dumb.
and so sweet.
She has 100% cuteness and sweetness
Yep.
factor and 0% intelligence.
If it's too warm or too cold,
Outside.
she freezes.
Yeah,
like she will, and I mean, like
stands in
freezes
place.
in her place. Like she becomes a
She
statue.
just stands there.
She gets confused on, like,
She loses
we're proud
all...
that she remembers to breathe at that point.
Right, exactly. She loses all sense of direction, and you have to go and pick her up and bring her in.
It's weird.
If it's 70 degrees and sunny, she'll take care of her
She's
business
fine.
and come right back in. But if it's
80
chilly
or above
yeah,
or 60 and below.
yeah,
She just kind of gets stuck in place
it's really
and doesn't
pathetic.
know what she should do.
Our son has 2 birds, Budgie and
Budgie
Click.
and Click.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
Parakeets.
then the youngest there, she has a bunny rabbit
Timmy.
named Timmy.
I tell you what, if anyone needs one of those security animals, a bunny would be a great one. They are so soft.
They're soft, but
There is something
but let's take our bunny.
okay, but
And hold on, you talk about you need a secure. Dude will claw you up if you pick him up.
no. Think about this though. If from day one he was carried around everywhere, into all stores, taken in the car all the time, it is not
ridiculous.
practical. But with a security animal, isn't that what you do?
Okay, yeah, he's
So-
soft there. He's got that going for him.
Oh my gosh, you
What?
are so down on a bunny.
That's because he doesn't
is
let
so
you
soft.
pick him up, and he tries to jump out of your arms, and then if you don't, then he'll claw you up while he tries to get down, or he'll run behind furniture and you can't get him out. Oh my gosh, but boy, he's got the soft coat going, so that's good. All right, I got it. What's your favorite kind of music?
I like a variety. I don't know what the classification would be. Maybe like kind of an alternative indie mix, maybe. But I love 80s music too.
But what's the best decade for music if you had to pick one?
Well,
Come on, you gotta pick
so
one.
it's the 80s, 90s. Yeah, 80s and 90s. But not like 90s like
Not like Seattle grunge, right? More
well,
like
no, like I
alternative.
mean Pearl Jam was Seattle grunge and loved that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved the grunge scene.
Really?
I did.
What?
You don't remember? I used to wear
I know what kind of like plaid shirts you would wear.
flannel, not plaid.
Thank you. Yeah, let me tell you, back in my day, we had the plaid shirts in the early 90s. Okay. So what are some bands you're into right now? You want me to tell you what you wrote?
I'm thinking I probably wrote Vampire Weekend. I probably wrote The Shins,
Mm-hmm.
Spoon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of. I love U2. U2 is not like I'm into them right now. That's just
Yeah,
like
that's
the standard.
That's the greatest band
Always,
of all time.
yes.
Absolutely.
So I like Brandi Carlile a lot. There's something that's very soulful about her voice that I just really like her. And same thing with Sarah Jaffe. They just have this.
I don't know either of those.
Yeah.
You'll have
really
to
good.
send me some links.
I will.
Okay, so what are some interesting talents that you have?
Okay. So I kind of have a hodgepodge of odds and ends with skills and talents. Like I can wiggle my nose in 2 different ways. I can flip my tongue around weird.
Is that rare that people can move their nose in different ways? Because I've never tried. Like
I don't know.
Hold on, like that? You can do that?
Well, yeah, but I guess that would be a third. That's not
This
hard.
is- this
You're
is-
just
this is-
scrunching up your nose.
This is riveting audio, I know. So wait, show me the 2 different
Okay.
ways. Hold on.
So, well,
I'll try to
do we wanna-
describe it. Yeah, let's go.
All right.
What's
Okay, so here's one.
Okay, that's like the nostril flare.
It's like
I
a
know
bunny
it's-
nose.
it's like
It looks like a
bunny-
bunny nose.
Right, there it is.
And then here's just a nostril flare.
Okay, I don't know that
It
that's
is
really a
different.
talent,
There are
though.
2.
It's more of
I
a-
have odds and ends.
Okay, what
I
else
said,
you got?
I'm a very good hula hooper.
Okay. Yeah,
Very good hula
what's
hooper.
the longest you ever gone doing that? Days, I mean. How
Well,
many days have you done it straight
I've
through?
not tried to do it for days straight through, but
You could if you wanted to.
probably.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm a decent dancer. I cannot tap dance. That's the one kind of dance. You can give me almost any type of dance, and even if I'm not like tip top at it, I
Right.
can do it. Tap dance, I look like I need to go to the bathroom or something. It's just
Okay.
weird, which I just told your mom about this,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to tell her husband, your stepdad, Randy. She said, I finally found something that Carrie's not good at. So
Yeah, you can do cartwheels.
I do
those are pretty
amazing
impressive,
cartwheels.
right?
I can do the splits. I can power walk like no other. I sing in Pig Latin. So kind of like you turn any song into a country song.
Yeah.
I can sing in Pig Latin. And I actually put that on my resume.
Oh, wow.
Because it's it's one of those, every audition that I've gone to, they say, do that.
At a theater audition?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Have you ever, is that how you got your pastor job? They had you sing in Pig Latin?
No.
No, okay. I just didn't know if maybe that
No,
came in
they
handy.
didn't.
Now, see, if you were trying to be work for a Catholic church, that might come in handy. The Pig Latin.
Wow. Wah, wah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What is something that people don't know about you?
Did I write something there?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah. We can skip this.
I don't know what I wrote.
I hate Keith Malinak.
Oh,
What is it?
I
No.
did not.
No, it
Oh my
says-
gosh.
It says my regrets. Do we want to delve into
Oh,
those?
well, you have to go back to the question of what are your regrets?
Okay, well then what are
And
your
what did I
regrets?
answer?
I don't know. This is printed up weird. It's printed up
Uh-huh.
weird. My regrets. You wrote plenty.
Okay. And then, so what are your regrets? Plenty. What is something people don't know about me? My regrets.
Why do I feel like I'm in like this weird loop right now with you? Okay.
Because that is a looped
Okay.
thing.
There you go. Anything you want to accomplish in your lifetime?
Yes. Did I write anything for that?
Well, first of all, hold on.
Huh?
There's 3 things listed here of
Uh-oh.
what you would like to accomplish.
Okay.
So let's don't get ahead of me. Don't
I won't.
segue into the other one because we got to hold the third one for the last.
Okay.
First of all, you want to cage dive with great whites, and I've tried
Oh
to
my
set that
gosh.
up for you.
No. Okay. So we used to have an agreement. So for anyone listening,
Hold on. For anyone listening, whenever Carrie says to me in a conversation, we used to have an agreement, it never ends well for me. But continue.
no, what I was going to say for anyone listening. So as bad of a memory as Keith has, I have the
Agreed.
opposite with a good memory.
Which is always awesome. Continue.
So Keith used to want to do skydiving.
Yeah, well,
And I've always wanted to do cage dive with a great white shark. I'm a little nervous about just doing a free dive with a great white, but
I would hope so.
So we always agreed that once our youngest, and this is before we even had kids, once our youngest was 18, he would go skydiving and I would go cage diving.
Well, I mean, we can do
And-
that, but I want to go.
Well, oh no, that's fine. But I thought that you've taken that off of your wish
yeah, I don't want to do the
list.
skydiving. I do want to do a hot air balloon, though.
Yes, I do too.
Can I skydive from the hot air balloon? That'd be kind of weird, right?
Oh, you could freak out the pilot and like just have a backpack with a parachute in it and say, oh no, and then jump out.
Oh, they'd love that.
I know.
Okay,
So,
so do you still not want to? You want to do a great white cage dive?
Heck
or,
yeah.
But
I'm
not
still-
a free dive. You still
I
consider
am
that?
still honoring the.
Oh, here we are.
No, I'm not saying that in a passive aggressive or snarky way. I'm still honoring that I don't want to do something that is life risking like that.
Yeah.
Or possibly while our kids are.
Yeah, and I
still
appreciate
under our
that a
roof.
lot. Yeah.
Yes.
You used to be really good at Spanish, right?
The
But because it says here, you want to reacquaint yourself with the Spanish language to
I
a
do.
comfortable level.
I
You
do.
you were really comfortable, like in college.
I was. You realize, which you pointed this out a few days ago to me. You said, "Hey, you should be in Costa Rica right now." We were supposed to go on a mission trip to Costa Rica, and then 2020 hit, and
Yeah.
the COVID hit, and changed everything. So yeah, I love
Well,
Spanish.
so you have more time to get that comfortable before you finally get down there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So
I need
you're
to put in the work and the effort, though.
with all that free time that
I
you
know.
got, right? Okay,
That's
so
what I should add to my free time list. I need to pick that up again. Oh, and with special skills, I would say I'm a pretty good cook.
excellent cook.
And I would say that
No question.
part of the niche that I have in cooking is that I take recipes and make them healthy. And so I provide healthy meals that
Without-
taste good
Without anybody knowing.
without anybody knowing. And I work around different sensitivities and intolerances of food that we have in our family.
You're right. And
So-
that's the great thing is you'll make something, we'll enjoy it, it'll be the yummiest treat ever, and then you'll go, surprise, that had pig intestines. No. You tell us how it's all natural and it was gluten-free, and that's gluten-free? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, it's quite
Not
a
that gluten-free means healthy, but for anyone who has a gluten
it's tough to get taste.
Or it's a weird, gluten-free usually has a weird texture because we have to do not only gluten-free, but corn-free.
Yeah.
Because our son has both gluten and corn allergies.
Yeah, and these are tested allergies. These aren't like in our head.
No.
He's a very unique individual.
Yes.
With his sensitivities and how it affects him.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's your third big goal you want to accomplish in your lifetime. Man.
Uh-oh.
You want to learn how to ride a unicycle. So what she did is she purchased said unicycle, and now it literally sits in the corner of our bedroom and just mocks her openly every time she enters the room.
Okay. So I turned 40 and I thought it's about time I learned how to ride a unicycle.
Because everybody has that thought, right? They're like, all right, I'm 40. Oh, it's unicycle year.
And I knew this would happen. I knew one of our children would be really excited about this and on board and want to learn the unicycle as well.
The youngest, right?
No. Are you kidding?
Really?
Ez.
The boy?
The boy.
I haven't noticed that.
Oh my gosh, he's actually pretty good.
Okay.
And
does our health insurance cover broken arms still?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. He's pretty good. I do, and every once in a while I'll get on it. I need a better starting point with stability, like a narrow hall or something where I could just kind of coast along a little bit.
And thankfully we don't have that in our house.
No.
Or else we'd probably be repainting it every 2 weeks with you and Ezra rolling around.
Yeah. Well, and learning on tile is also not the easiest thing. Carpet or tile, those are our options at home.
Yeah. No.
Not easy.
Not a good way to think that one through. So you want to travel the world.
I do.
You've always wanted to travel the world.
Yes. And you?
I mean, I might get to Canada for a hockey game.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think I've always had, but it's kind of weird because I think I have an adventurous spirit, but at the same time,
you don't have an adventurous budget.
I would love to have someone who would bankroll my wished lifestyle.
Well, yeah, and I know you want to get to Ireland, and I might be convinced to go there because there's a Nebraska Cornhuskers football game coming up pretty soon. I might get over there for that.
That would be awesome. I think that it's kind of interesting because I have a little bit of a war in my own self where I have this adventurous spirit. I want to go and travel and see and do and meet. Part of it is meeting people of different cultures. And I really like the comfort of my surroundings. Like that kind of, you know how an animal is very comfortable in their den or their home. You know, I kind of am like that too. Like I feel very at rest when I'm familiar or in a familiar space. So I don't know. So it's kind of a weird mix.
What are some countries you want to visit as you travel the world?
I really want to do, I would really love to go to Ireland, Scotland, England. But with England, it's not London. London's not calling. It's the English countryside and like rural England.
Right.
I think that is, and part of it, I love British TV. I love British crime dramas, especially. I don't know what it is. I love British things. So, yeah.
This is news to me. You want to maybe pursue another postgraduate degree? You know how much those cost, right?
Surprise.
In what?
So I have been approached several times. And, he's got his serious face on now.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to jump into any more schooling at this point. I love learning. I love schooling. I whine like the Dickens about having to write papers. But I also, when I get completed with a paper and I do that research and I learn and I grow, I don't know that I would put this in special skills, but I think I write a pretty darn good research paper. I wish I could write fiction. You are an amazing fiction writer. You do so well with that. And I don't. That is not, but I do really well with a research paper.
You're kind.
So, I'm not kind. You're a very good fiction writer.
When's the
So,
last time I wrote something fiction?
I don't know.
Right.
I always encourage you to because
That would be decades.
I know, but you're really, really good. You're a very good writer.
Well, thank you.
Yes, very creative. So, and I think Ezra takes after you with that. He's a very good fiction, like story writer. Aslan's a good storyteller. But
Gotcha. And Zeely just lies. Got it. So
so I've been asked to pursue a PhD in theology.
Nice.
By my alma mater, Institute of Lutheran Theology, which
They're going to bankroll it too?
No, that's the thing. And I would actually, it's a full-time, like I could not work and do that at the same time. And I need time off of learning.
Right. That, you
like
know what?
Official learning.
In fact, I have said that since I graduated college 22 years ago.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to need some time off from learning from here till eternity. Thank you, though. What's your earliest memory?
I have a lot of early memories. I remember when a dog bit me when I was 2 years old. I remember getting stitches for that. So when I was 2, I was bit by a dog. And so when I smile, it looks like I have 2 dimples, but actually one of them, the one on my left cheek, is a scar.
Wow.
Yes. And then
What kind of dog was it? Do you remember that?
Well, I thought it was really big.
Well,
and my mom pointed out to me that it was actually a pretty small dog, but I was 2. So it seemed big.
Right.
I thought it was a Dalmatian, but it was not. It was a little dog. And
turns out it was the size of the dog that could fit in a purse.
Basically.
But it was mean.
It was. It actually dragged me out into another room. I remember the man who owned it, he had a John Deere cap on and a plaid, not flannel, but plaid shirt on. And I remember him pulling the dog off of my face. And I remember him handing me his handkerchief, or my mom, and I sat in her lap, and she held the handkerchief, I guess, on my cheek. And we drove to the doctor's.
Yeah.
And I remember afterwards, he bought cherry nut ice cream for the whole neighborhood.
That's it?
That's what I remember.
Did he pay for your medical expenses?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, we weren't going to sue or anything like that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Really, really nice family. And
what did you do to set the dog off? Be honest. You did something.
So the neighbors had kids that were older.
Okay.
And they had really fun baby dolls. You know, I was 2. They had fun baby dolls and baby doll clothes. And so I was going in the house to get a new baby doll, and I saw Chi-Chi, the dog.
Oh, no.
And so I went in, and I don't know if I went to see Chi-Chi or if I surprised Chi-Chi. But Chi-Chi bited me. That was my 2-year-old saying, apparently.
Chi-Chi
bited me. Another early memory that I have, this is a couple years later. Well, I remember being strapped down to get stitches on my eyebrow because I had fallen into a bunk bed and cut my eyebrow.
How old was that?
That was 3. And I remember when I was 4, and I remember Let me guess.
It's going to be a bad memory.
Well, 2 things. It involves a shooting. So I remember when Reagan was shot, and it was right about that time. And I always put the 2 memories together, although they were probably a couple days apart. Where there were 5 people killed in the house next door to us. And I remember the police officers next door, like walking around and doing crime scene stuff. And my mom was making coffee for them. My dad was a police officer at that time, so he was
Did you know
out.
These neighbors well? Did you know?
No, I would not have known them well. It was a young single lady that had moved to town recently before that. And she had gone on a date with someone, and he kind of creeped her out. And so she didn't go on any more dates with him. And he was a stalker, and she got a new boyfriend, and she had a couple of friends visiting her. And he went in and shot them and then called the boyfriend and said, hey, your girlfriend. And so then the boyfriend went over there and he killed him and then he killed himself. So
my goodness.
Yeah.
Well then.
Yep.
All right, let's switch gears here. Let's go to your most embarrassing moment then.
Okay, I think I'm realizing something about myself. And I thought everyone had embarrassing moments.
Sure. What?
I think that
You've got the market cornered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about Junior Mints.
Oh my God.
Because we were married living in Atlanta. And
we were in Houston.
It was Houston?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Well, okay, that's right. There was a stretch there where you and Junior Mints were not getting along in public. So Junior Mints are little chocolate treats come in like a white and green lettering box, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And someone had asked me once, is your story better than Seinfeld? Yeah. Remember the Seinfeld episode when the Junior Mint flies into the guy's stomach in the surgery?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this one. And what's so bad about your Junior Mint stories is that they're plural and they stretch over the course of about 2 weeks.
A week.
And that's 1 week. And that's when I said, no more Junior Mints. Walk us through these insane situations that occurred with you and Junior Mints.
Okay. So do you remember what movie theater what movie we went to see?
Get Shorty, maybe?
No.
Snatch? Something.
Nope.
It's one of those.
About a boy.
Oh, I wasn't even the right genre.
So, no, you weren't.
My
so,
bad.
when we lived in Houston, you were on the morning show with Pat Gray, and who you work with currently.
Some things never change.
Some things never change. And so, you would get off the show and you'd be done on a Friday.
Yeah, Fridays. Before you have kids, you can actually do things. That's when you have downtime.
Yeah.
Okay? You get done with work, we go and watch the matinee because I'm cheap, and I wake up at 2. At that time, it was 2 a.m., 2:30, something like that.
So,
and we would, in the afternoon, go see a movie on Friday afternoon.
We did. Usually on Friday afternoon. Sometimes we would do something else, but that was back when we actually got to stay current with movies.
Yeah. We haven't seen a movie since we lived in Houston, which puts us at 2003. Yeah, once that oldest was born in 2003,
done.
That's where my point of reference for movies ends for the most part. Seriously.
Yes. Absolutely. We're always like 5 or 6 years behind now.
Or 17.
Or more.
So we're at the movie theater watching About a Boy, which is a great movie, by the way, with a great soundtrack.
Really great
from
soundtrack.
Badly Drawn Boy.
Yes.
And Hugh Grant does a great job in this movie.
Yes. And Toni Collette. It's a wonderful, really, really good movie.
I'd recommend it. It's a chick flick.
It's a great book,
it's good.
too.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Listen to her. The book's always
I have
better.
a rule. This one actually, both were good.
Okay.
And you can read the book and you can watch the movie and appreciate each as its own entity. We have a rule in the household, and I would say this started with me. It's my rule that we have, but
for the kids.
For the kids, yes, for the kids, absolutely, and for myself, I keep it. You have to read the book before you watch the movie, and we've watched how many movies where you've said, "What's going on? What's going on?" And it's explained in the book, but not in the movie. So,
got it.
Anyway, the movie's over.
About a Boy.
We had eating our popcorn, eating our candy, walking to the bathrooms afterwards, and I'm kind of whistling along and snapping my fingers, and everyone's looking at me really weird, and I'm thinking, lighten up, people. It's just a song, and I'm just going about my merry business. And I get into the bathroom and I start to unbutton my pants, and I realize, I look down and I have a mess of chocolate in the front of my pants.
Not just the front.
No. That was just the front.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it was mortifying. I was laughing so hard. I was crying. So
It looks like you got poop all over the place.
I quickly tied my jacket around my waist, and I walked out, and I see you, and you see that I've got tears streaming down my face, and you're like, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I'm laughing so hard I couldn't talk, and I said, just get to the car.
Right.
So we get to the car.
You're not whistling anymore, are you?
No. So we get to the car, and I remember untying my jacket going, look, and there's all this chocolate, and
There's poo everywhere.
So mortifying.
Yeah. And
So
you hope you
then-
never see those people inside ever again.
Yeah. So then a week later, It was exactly a week later. We had to run some errands. We went to the post office.
Post office, yeah.
There was always a line at the post office.
Yeah, and think about this. You got a line that parallels the long counter, and then you get to the counter, and there's 5 windows open. And so just imagine the scene where Carrie is at the window dealing with the postal worker, okay, leaning on the counter with her backside facing that long line that was waiting so patiently. And boy, did they get some entertainment while they waited.
So we get done at the post office. We walk out to the car. And I had been eating Junior Mints, the leftover Junior Mints from the movie theater. I was eating them in the car, and I look in as I'm opening the door. And you know how a movie, when there's something major that happens and it just pans in fast, 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 and you get these zoom in shots? Mm-hmm. It was like that. On the seat, there was chocolate. And I went, oh no.
Smeared.
And I looked, and sure enough, I had sat in chocolate.
And then showed the people in line, gave them a clear picture of what was going on back there.
I don't know if you remember this. I remember saying, please say something about this on the radio, something, because if anyone saw that and they could just, maybe they'd listen to the show and they would get an explanation.
No, another group of people you hope you never cross paths with again. And what was the third event with Junior Mints?
I didn't have another one with Junior Mints.
Oh, there wasn't?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Gosh, no.
I couldn't remember. I thought maybe there were.
No. But I got a free drink at Wicked for telling that story. No one thought that the guy who was the drink pourer, he did not think that I would have a more embarrassing story than a fictional Seinfeld story. And and he said, here you go. Here's your Coke.
Coke. Okay, very good. Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you?
I'm trying to remember what I wrote. Definitely my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what I wrote?
That's what you wrote.
Oh, there you go.
So congrats to your kids.
Yay.
Having a big influence on you. Like a positive influence or a...
It said impact.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
positive impact or negative impact?
Definitely positive. But, I would not trade a single second of parenting at all. But it is impactful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything that I've missed that we need to cover that we need to go back over and better explain? Have you had Junior Mints since 2000? I guess about the year, probably it's about
2002, I think.
Yeah, sure. Have you had any since then?
I have. People, including yourself,
daring,
given me
as a joke.
Junior Mints for Christmas gifts.
And the box, of course, is completely encased in rubber cement so you can never tear into it.
And the box, of course, doesn't have anything written on it that, like, eat only at home.
Yeah, over a garbage can.
Or warning, these melt.
Or make sure you're wearing a tarp while eating these and then throw the tarp in the garbage can afterward. Yeah, so have we covered everything?
I don't know. Did we?
I guess so.
Probably. Did you learn anything about me today?
Yeah. There was a few things in there that I wasn't quite like. I didn't know Ezra was the Unicycle guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you said about you.
Well, no, that's fine. Because you always claim, I know everything about you. I know you so well. 22 years. And,
25 years,
well,
technically.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you've been considering taking more college courses.
Not in the near future.
Okay, well, that's good. So, I want to thank you, Kari Malinak, my wife. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of At the Mic.
Thanks for having me.
This has been At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production. Look for At the Mic Show on Twitter to connect.